Alright guys, TacticalRab back in today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Happy 4th of July to my American friends. Many interesting things to dive into today. We've got plenty of teams making role changes it seems right now. We've got Thieves getting bodied on the timeline once again. And we've got Simp talking about these trophies that maybe were meant to arrive by the CDL, but he is out to take some different action. Intrigued to take your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody upside the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing. Now this clip is a pretty legendary one from back in 2017. Tommy clutching a 1 versus 3, Game 5, Round 11 up against Luminosity Gaming. This is like we were talking about the other day, like the best assault rifles in history. The NV4 definitely deserves a mention from my perspective, because this was just a beautiful weapon. You can see right here, it doesn't get too much better than this. I mean, this map, what was it called? Crusher, right? It's not the best one by any means, but yeah, Tommy clutched a nice one way through. I think like Saint is like 2 and 11 or something right here. It's not so pretty, but yeah, pops the reactive armor. Definitely the specialists in that game were pretty strong, there's no doubt about it. When Octane even pops camo in that round 11, they always used to save the stuff up, hit everything as a team, and well, just hope something would work out in your favour. But certainly cool to see some throwback moments coming in all the time. And speaking of throwback moments, this from Warzone news. Season 5 maps rumour supposedly, according to some leaker, Yemen or Plaza in Season 5 of Cold War. Now, of course, though, we don't expect this to come to the Pro League anytime soon. There have been some questions about, okay, standoff hardpoint. It's still in League play, right? Would the pros decide to bring that in for Stage 5? We haven't said anything about that anytime soon. But Yemen was a pretty legendary map in Call of Duty history, right? We had the Scumper, who's the best in the game. Look at the scoreboard moment you guys may well remember, and Plaza had a few interesting moments as well, and maybe that was played right at the start of the season or something, but it kind of well fell off for competitive play not too long after that. It was pretty cool for public matches back in the Black Ops 2 days, so yeah, more stuff coming back, but it probably doesn't make too much difference to competitive. Speaking of some competitive players, we got Waskin right here talking about joining Facebook Gaming. Interesting move, to be honest. There has been talk about us, I think Scraps was saying like, look, next year he might decide to go down the streaming route, play that with Waskin. I thought that maybe Scraps and Waskin, Lineman was talking about it the other day on the Breaking Point podcast, could be a nice like streaming duo on the Warzone side. With Waskin going to Facebook, of course, look, that's a big short-term bag. Whether it's the best move, I don't really know, but yeah, maybe it works out and maybe Facebook Gaming actually kind of blows up, but I can't really, well, I'm not necessarily convinced, let's just say, but who knows, right? Scraps may follow him down that route, I'm not really sure, it depends on what direction they want to go down, but yeah, thought I'd mention if you guys, regardless if you've been wondering where Waskin has been on his streams or something, he's over at the Facebook Gaming side of things now. This is something I missed to talk about yesterday, so thought I would throw it in right here. We talked about the whole Crimsix thing where he was kind of getting into beef with Attach's mother, but Attach says in reply, my mum might be going to Major 5, you have been warned. Now, we don't really know as yet whether there's going to be fans for Major 5. We talked about it as a possibility because the Overwatch League, I think, or something like that, they're going to have fans for their major at the stadium that the Stage 4 major was held at, so we don't really know what's going on. For Champs, I'm pretty sure it's going to be happening. For Major 5, it's unclear as of yet. We don't even, I'm pretty sure, know exactly where it is. Maybe we do, and it's been announced, but I can't exactly remember if we have. So anyway, Attach is saying his mum might be going. Now, yeah, does that mean that fans are going to be allowed to attend? That is a question that is still very hopeful right now, and well, as time progresses, it becomes more and more likely, of course. This then from a couple of different teams seeing how these role changes might be playing out. The other day we talked about Octane saying like, yes, he'd actually been running an SMG in scrims, and now I kind of thought, alright, maybe it's just on a couple of different situations where Gunless is using the Krig on a certain maps like Apocalypse, for example, and maybe Octane's putting out that kind of third SMG on, well, some of the maps like Apocalypse, so very specific circumstances. But maybe it's a little bit more than that. Joey Nubsy, the coach of Seattle, tweets out Subtane. Tim's like, yeah, I'm losing it right now. I guess they were scrimming them or something like that. And Octane finds it pretty funny. And then we get this as well that comes out from Classic AR, Sig, or whatever the hell. People are going to be shook, says Joey Nubsy. So, well, seems like maybe people won't be shook if they've watched this video. But still, seems like maybe Classic's thinking of going back to the assault rifle and Octane on the SMG. Now, this is interesting because we looked at the NV4 actually right at the start of the video from Infinite Warfare. And when Classic was the best player that I've seen him be in Call of Duty history, it was in Infinite Warfare with the NV4 in hand on that squad. Like, they had a really good team going on over there, right, where they had Saints and Slacked on the SMGs. Then it was like Classic who would effectively run the second AR to Octane, and Classic would very often have an NV4 in hand. And he was very proficient with it. Honestly, one of the best players in that entire game. People forget how good Classic was with that AR in hand. Now, of course, as of late, he's been more of an SMG, like a space-making type player. But who knows, right? Maybe this is the direction they decide to go down. At the end of the day, Seattle season's probably chalked. Might as well try something out to see if it works. But Octane on an SMG, that is, well, certainly something to keep your eyes on. Players on SMGs, of course, this is another one, Priestahh, who seems to be back using it right now. You can see some scrims going on in some Search and Destroy where they're playing an Express Search right here. And, well, Priestahh is absolutely finessing in and around the train with the AK-74U in hand. So it seems like that's the route they've gone down, attached to the Krig now, and it's Priestahh on the SMG, and clearly making it work to great effect. Nice little, well, kill cam to finish off the job right here. Finesse they're sitting in and around the train, as it tends to be tradition at this point for some of these players. But yeah, a lot of pro scrims going down in the search and destroy side. I think a lot of teams now, they scrim like these best of 11s, and they'll play like through a load of different maps, which seems to be what OpTic had good success with when they were scrimming last season, and now this season as well. It seems to have become more of a regular thing. But of course, no streams of this stuff anytime soon, unfortunately, on many different sides of things. This is what Simp says then a couple of days ago that I thought was very interesting indeed. My girlfriend got me trophies since we didn't get any for our majors, starting a little collection. So this is really confusing, I think, from a couple of different perspectives. Let me bring this up on screen right here. So it seems like Simp's girlfriend has gone out of her way to get these, to get these trophies made for their championships for Major 1, Major 2, and Major 4 as it is so far, or Major 3, sorry, of course they lost Major 2 to the Ultra guys. Now, of course, you could go one step further than this, try to get like the MVP trophies and all that type of stuff, but this is very confusing. We tend to see for every single event, typically, there'll be some sort of trophy, but at least in the pre-CDL era. But last season, that was also a major discussion, when I'm pretty sure early part of the season, there was like these LAN events that were going on, and the CDL were like, yeah, we're not providing a trophy. It's up to the host of the tournament, right? The London, like, let's say the London home series or something. I'm not even sure there was a trophy, and if there was, like, there was some drama about it got stolen or something. I think that was actually ages ago that the trophy got stolen, and maybe one of like Gfinities or something like that back in the day. But like, I'm pretty sure it was on the teams. Like, I think the CDL was like, yeah, it's on the teams that are hosting these home series to actually produce their own trophy. They can do what they want, but the CDL isn't going to get involved. Now, of course, like these majors so far this season are CDL put on, but some of the weeks leading up to the majors are like the technical home series again. So the CDL may be trying to eliminate as much effort as they possibly can from executing this type of stuff. But still very confusing, right? Because if you are Simp right now, you'd imagine you win Major 1, you're going to get a trophy or something of the sort coming through your door. Or, you know, maybe they have one for the team or something, but maybe not individual trophies. I don't really know. You'd have thought they could have done something for the players that are winning tournaments of this caliber. And it's not like last season when there's like the home series the entire time that are hosted by certain teams that you can say, okay, look, Toronto, you're hosting this home series. It's up to you to decide what trophy you want to give, what medals you want to give or something for second or the first or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't really seem like they're getting any of that. I haven't seen a trophy that's come to the FaZe Clan guys, for example, for winning the entire thing, like just like a single trophy or something for that event. So it seems like Simp's girlfriend's got out of her way, right, to actually get these trophies made. And also no like MVP type stuff. So I guess for champs, there's going to be the trophy that we talked about last year, right? How maybe it wasn't quite as pretty as the original the pre-CDL, I suppose, era World Championship trophy. But still, I mean, if the CDL can't do something like this, right, then it does make you question a little bit the players' perspectives of, well, their league at the present time. Let's move on to this then, because Thieves have been kind of getting bodied on the timeline these last couple of days. I do feel somewhat bad for them. But this was the big question with the Thieves team. Is the SMG duo going to be able to keep up? We talked the other day, top 5 SMGs in the game. Of course, John and Drazah were nowhere near that list right now, and understandably so, they've only really started as an SMG duo. But someone who really was just on the horizon of that team was, none other than Neptune, right, who's been frying over on the Florida Mutineers side. He comes out right here, an 11 spree versus Los Angeles Thieves. You can see the start for Drazah and John right here isn't too pretty. I'm pretty sure they end up combining here for like 5 in 16 or something, which is not ideal, and that really does raise the question about this team as to whether, of course, it's a scrim at the end of the day. It's not too much to read into, but that was the concern with this team, right? We talk about the importance of the SMG duo, and this is a map like Apocalypse, right? It tends to be pretty good for the SMGs, relatively close range engagements. Neptune's obviously having a good time right here, racking up to this 11 streak early on. I'm pretty sure he's like 8 in 1 or something right now, and he must finish at like 15 in 1 or something after getting a load of kills. Challenging it individually, as you can see, John flies up right there. So, of course, it's a scrim, not too much to read into, but when people put this type of stuff on the timeline, it is interesting because we never get to see really behind the scenes in scrims because, it's something that the players don't stream. But when players put like 2-minute clips up on the timeline, there's probably quite a lot to see. And you can see early on here, Mutineers kind of decimating the Thieves guys, and the combination between the SMG duo, not particularly pretty by any means.
Three spawned out temple, guys. 3 spawned out temple.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit half. I'm gonna hit half.
Listen, I'm going up another streak. Let me check in my streaks.
Heal me.
Actually, no, I'm
Low
not.
hurt. Watch your low heli. Low heli dead.
Go start.
One half
I got
on.
2. No one there.
Half on me. Last guy. I'm running away. That's
Push
good.
blocks here. Blocks here.
Push on low. Push on my low. Trust me. It's better.
They're mid. They can be your mid.
Yeah, half out.
Mid and top map still big.
Mass one shot. Mass is up.
Nice.
Wanted to finish off with a couple of interesting things because they were a pretty good result in the Euros last night for those of us in England. Most certainly, there was a bit of a spice between Claystree said it's coming home, and then Liam's like, I've switched from Ravens to subliners, but then Clay tweeted out how you create about a fry today, how you're not even the real UK team, say the subliners, and Ravens say actually we've got as many UK players as Toronto. Interesting for the Ultra guys because of course England are going to be playing Denmark in the semi-final, and CleanX CleanX is Danish, and the rest of the guys are, well, at least Bant is from England, whereas Cammy's from Scotland, Insight's from England, of course, as well. So yeah, 2 English guys, 1 Scottish guy, 1 Danish guy. So interesting how that develops, right? But you know, we certainly saw it was the Germany match, really. I was wondering whether I should talk about this, but I thought now would be an appropriate time when England were playing Germany, right? And there was the whole you know, plenty of discussion about the fan that came up on stream, like the young fan that was you know, upset about the situation, right? And well, as Maven says, they showed upset German fans and players. If this was esports, people would be losing it. That emotion is critical. It's so important to show the emotions, Ismails. This means so much to so many people. Show us the emotion. Cannot wait for crowds again. You know, the little gun and all that type of stuff, right? You know, it adds a human element. These guys aren't invulnerable elite superheroes. Somewhat interesting, I think, for Maven to say this, because well, let's say earlier this season, right, in the CDL, there was quite some discussion about players being used on camera, right? When they're frustrated, should the CDL be allowing that to be posted on stream? Like, should that be the thing that they're promoting, right? And of course, there was the discussion about the Minnesota Rokkr stuff versus OpTic, when it was like the whole "this is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen" type discussion, right, from Scump and the guys at the time. But maybe that's slightly different if it's an individual organization tweeting something like that out. But from the CDL perspective, we've seen guys like Clayson being kind of frustrated, right, when he's on camera, and let's say they're like playing his frustrations after they lose a series or something. The player's not necessarily always too happy that the CDL are doing that, but I think it definitely shows how much it means to some of these players, right? And well, of course, showing them the emotion when they lose makes it even better when they go on to win. That at least is my perspective on the matter. And well, this comes out from Scum as well. It's kind of funny, right? This whole well, I don't understand how he keeps getting stuck so much. But I mean, even look at this. He comes out of the corner and just like eats a grenade to his face here on Armada Strike. So yeah, I guess I'll play this to finish out the video. But intriguing your thoughts in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Like you enjoyed this content, other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and have grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you guys as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
I got everyone weak out here. Man, like, I'm telling you, man, something is up. I'm telling you, bro.